Yeah.
There's really not a lot to discuss this episode.
There's really not a lot.
We'll still manage to make an episode about it, obviously.
yeah.
But like,
I mean,
I don't think this is gonna demand any like long-winded, like deep dive into anything.
Just you wait. There's stand-up.
Oh, that's right.
There's stand-up. We got to talk about stand-up.
Proximity alert. Vessel approaching. The vessel is hailing.
Space.
Warning. Warp core collapse in 10 seconds.
Welcome to Left Track. Welcome to Left Track, your leftist Star Trek podcast. I'm Eric. In the manosphere, they know me as the outrageous Eric. Joining me is Brian.
Hi, it's me, Brian. Say hi, Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian. And special guest, the always lovely KiraChats. Sorry, I went through like 3 names in my head.
KiraChats. Hi everyone, it's me, KiraChats, not Bad Bunny. KiraChats.
What do Puerto Rican rappers have anything to do with this?
No, nothing to do with this.
Now,
And if you were to type in Bad Bunny, you only find that Puerto Rican rapper. You can never find anything else.
Nothing else.
So you have to change your name if you happen to have the name Bad Bunny in any other capacity.
Yeah, true. Kira, I don't know about you, but yo pareja sola, so you know. Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Está el baño.
Nobody listens to Bad. I see I'm the only person of culture here who listens to important artists like the Puerto Rican rapper known as Bad Bunny.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I'm not familiar with
any
of his work at all. I think I listened to like one of his songs for like 3 seconds. So I'm like, it's not really for me.
I don't think I've ever listened to any of it, any music ever by him, ever.
Yeah.
I think I'm almost like I'm like
a
really
top
don't
three.
want to now. Like I'm like angry. Like I'm angry about. I'm like fuck you, because he's probably like a really nice person. Like I'm sure he's a nice person and very talented. But like I just had like so many people coming through my Discord, angry that I'm not Bad Bunny, the Puerto Rican rapper. And then no one can ever find me because they're like, I keep searching for you, but I keep finding Bad Bunny, the Puerto Rican rapper.
Mm-hmm.
And then like people will follow me on Twitter and I'd be like, oh cool, people like me. That's like, no, then they add me to a list of like something like something related to Bad Bunny, the Puerto Rican rapper. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to ever have anything. I don't want to listen to any of this music. I don't want it. I don't want it.
Mm-hmm. Your style got
no
bit.
hate to Bad Bunny, the Puerto Rican rapper. And you know what? I had the name first. That's the kicker.
It's
You did.
true.
Your style, you got swag jacked. Okay.
Yeah,
you
that's
absolutely
true.
got swag jack.
100%. Thank you.
There's I have a much pettier version of something similar. There's a creator out there who I still have not like explored the content of, because I'm still angry that their name is Eric with a K. The channel's like internet comment etiquette. And I have a lot of mutual friends with this person, and so anytime any of them are talking about like oh yeah, I talked to Eric the other day, and like they're mentioning it on their show, and I'm like, oh yeah, we did talk. Are they gonna mention me? And I said, no, it's always fucking internet comment etiquette.
I talked to at Commenticate the other day, and different. God damn it.
It's driving me nuts. And the worst part is that I have to respect someone else who's named with a K, but you know what? I don't have to like the fact that I have to respect them.
You know,
right.
I feel like I really won when I chose my name. You know, I was like, it's like Brian Trash. There's no other Brian Trash out there. There's no Trash Can 1312s. There's just me. I'm the one.
No one else is this had thought of calling themselves a trash can. This is true.
Nobody is brave
Nobody
enough.
desired. No one. Right.
Oh yeah, that's why when we first started playing Tarkov for this newest wipe, we saw someone named Trash Can, and we were like, Brian, we can see you. We know you're on. We know you're playing.
Oh no,
Tarkov.
do I have a swag jacker?
Someone did swag your jack. Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have
Kira,
to go regulate.
Should play Tarkov.
Don't play Tarkov.
Kira, you should play Tarkov.
Don't do it.
No,
Okay,
do it.
Why? Give me one good reason I should play Tarkov.
It's good.
Yeah, I'm not playing Tarkov.
There
Sorry.
you go.
Damn it! I wasn't creative enough.
It's not the game where it's like they don't allow like women to be characters or whatever in it.
Hey, they don't allow that for a lot of games. Okay.
Really?
Right,
Name
but
another
yes.
game. Name one other
Marauders.
game. What?
Marauders.
Okay, I don't know what that's a made up game. I don't know what that is. Name a game that isn't made up.
It's Tarkov's chief competitor that people are like, oh, I don't want to play the misogynist game. I want to play Marauders, the game where you also can't be a woman.
I'm being subtweeted right now, and
you
there are more women in Marauders than in Tarkov.
Wait, so there are women
Right.
characters in Marauders?
There are a couple of. So in Marauders,
Non-lore important non-characters, unlike Therapist and
By the way,
Tarkov.
you're not selling Tarkov when you say the other competitor is also very misogynistic and claims it's not. Like, you're not like making Tarkov like not misogynistic. I hope you understand that.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're just pointing out how misogynistic that whole category of games are.
yeah, and that's fair. If you want to play a game like that that isn't misogynistic, you have to settle for a game called The Cycle, and it's unplayable. So
it's
Awesome.
It's like sub Fortnite trash.
But can I be an unplayable woman?
yes,
Awesome.
you can do that.
This is what feminism wants, by the way.
See-
Unplayable games, but you're women.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. I just think that it's more likely that in Marauders that they'll actually put in women's voices than in Tarkov, where they've been fairly resistant to it in the past. So there's been it's been a subject that's come up. Where in Marauders,
Why are they
it's
so
new and they
fucking
haven't talked about it.
anti-woman? Why?
Okay, well, it's not. So in there is a mild defense in Tarkov. In Tarkov, your character is from either a Russian military, a Russian like private military, like nationalist private military split off that was combating like some like big pharma group, and then the other faction is an American-based private military contractor that was working for the big pharma group. So there's at least some kind of lore justification as to why there's not a plethora of women.
I mean, the
in
made-up
those
story they wrote happens to also not involve women.
it's a better excuse than Marauders, for which there is no lore
Again,
justification.
that's not a defense. That Marauders isn't great.
I know.
Who
I'm sorry.
cares about
I'm
Marauders? I only heard of in this one conversation. It really is.
I just appreciate.
You convinced me. I love Tarkov now. I can't wait to play it.
Great mission accomplished.
I love it, and it's not sexist actually, so it's great.
Well, the actual reason that Tarkov gets the misogynist label is that there was one developer that tweeted as like, women can't handle the hard battle conditions of that Tarkov demands, and by the time that tweet got discovered and then released, that developer had already been like fired for different reasons like a year prior, and yet that reputation has just stuck with Tarkov forever. Not helped by the fact that when they clarified that developer had been fired, that they then also said we have no plans to add women to the game.
But but if he was fired for other reasons, that doesn't really listen. We're fine with all this, but we don't like how you keep showing up late, Brad. Listen, Brad, we're cool with you thinking women are subhuman, but
there's also There's also another thing. This is something that these other derivatives are missing. There's a scavenger faction that are like locals of Tarkov, and there should absolutely be women fucking scavengers. That doesn't make any there's not a damn reason in the world why they shouldn't have women scavenger models. But
yeah, like if you want to tell me that like the Wagner Group and Blackwater are both like exclusively men, I get it. Sure, it's like you don't have to do that. You probably shouldn't do that in your game. But if you want to make that a part of the lore, fuck it. But if you're gonna be like, oh, the scavengers, well, yeah, it's just a bunch of guys, and they're all vibing, they're all barbecuing and like and walking around and picking stuff up. And it's like, okay.
If they had just made the sniper on Lighthouse, if they had just made that a woman, that would have like literally solved every problem that they would have ever had. Just make one super cool scav boss a woman, and especially one as cool as the fucking Lighthouse sniper guy that has like a 338 and shoots you in the leg from like 40 miles away. That's cool. But I guess it's fucking amateur hour over there in Russia.
at Battle State Games.
Amateur
Is this
hour
like a
over at Battle State
post-apocalyptic thing? It doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, yes, sort of. It's locally apocalyptic. It's locally post-apocalyptic.
It's like it's set around like a failed.
Everyone's
state,
fine everywhere
kind of.
else, but like this one town sucks super hard. So
Yeah,
everyone's
this
just,
like
struggling.
special economic area
basically.
has been like lost.
So
Because
it's a fictional like province in like northeastern Russia that an EMP went off over and kind of just like spread chaos into this whole area. It's like a fictional like Russian version of Hong Kong, like based in I guess like the North Sea or something. And then that gets EMP'd, and there's like this kind of like effort like by the government as well as like the UN to like cordon off the area, and it's just a murder spree, and the whole rest of the world is completely normal, and then this one area like it's a all versus all death match of just
and
like
it's only
murder.
men there,
and it's only men. It's 100% men.
Wow, what a town.
Except
you know what I love?
One JPEG of a woman who's one of the primary traders.
There you go. Not even 3D modeled. You know what I love about one day?
One day.
You know what I love about this episode of Star Trek?
Yeah.
It's that it sucked so bad that we have been talking about Tarkov for like 20 minutes.
Can I tell you one thing that I know we were supposed to do a whole like rundown of the episode, but I just need to say this.
Absolutely.
When Whoopi or Guinan is like, you're a droid and I'm annoyed. And that's the line, right? And then Data doesn't laugh, and she's like, see, that's an indicator that you don't get humor. No, it's not. That's a shitty joke, Guinan. That's an unfunny. Listen, I don't think of anything as like I don't want to think of like humor as being objectively funny or unobjectively funny, but first of all, she did impose that on Data. She's like, that's supposed to be objectively funny. But second of all, if I was the type of person, which I'm not, to impose this objective standard of humor, which I am not that type of person, but if I decided to try that out, that's not a funny fucking joke, Guinan. That's not funny. And then she looks at Data, who does a bit that's like actually like you know, he does this whole like chat, like, you know, that whole bit to her in like 10 forward, and like I think he was like reciting like jokes that comedians had made that like, but she's like, I'm not laughing. Like she's like, that's not funny. Like, who are you to say that's not funny, Guinan? You said you're a droid and I'm annoyed, and you thought that was like a killer joke that everyone should be like falling off their chairs laughing at.
It was a real fucking cerebral joke too. Like it was not like a normal. It was a real fucking brain teaser, that joke. Like I certainly didn't get it. And the joke that I thought she was making. I mean, okay, so it's a double entendre because she's annoyed as in she's like annoyed, but she's annoyed as in like she's a humanoid. I fucking hate. I don't know. I did not like the joke. I completely agree with you.
Oh, I didn't even know that extra level. I hate it even more now. My
Yeah,
God.
Well, because she explains it afterwards, which it makes sense that you could have missed because, like you, probably
I
like
think my
me,
mind
you were,
was
like,
just
seething.
being like disgusted, and I just didn't listen to the rest of it.
I know that my mind was in recovery mode after that high level joke.
That's right. You're gasping for air because you were laughing so hard. So
exactly.
You clearly
exactly.
couldn't. Yeah.
I was laughing so hard it was like silent and no one could hear it. It was really.
It's like the horseshoe theory of laughter. You just get to laugh so hard it goes to all the way to like you're not laughing at all.
Yeah,
well,
so
yeah.
that joke's really funny. In not like actually funny, but what I mean was what happened with that joke. The entire scene around that joke was funny to me because Data gets explained the joke and is like, "Oh, I get it now." And then I also at that moment finally got it and was like, "Oh, that was really stupid." That was like because it's like gated knowledge basically.
Yeah, it's one of those it's one of those jokes where like the joke teller gets to explain it afterwards and feel like smug. Like you not laughing is not the joke teller's fault. It's the audience's fault. Because they couldn't keep up with your extremely Rick and Morty fucking whatever like 5D chess joke.
Yeah, I'm really reminded of like when somebody from like a very niche group, like an engineer, makes a joke about something that only engineers get, and then that being like completely arcane to anybody outside of that community. But then a bunch of engineers just being like, yeah, that's fucking hilarious.
Well, actually, Brian, in this episode, the funniest person, the mathematically funniest person to ever exist was a comedian that made jokes about quantum mathematics.
That's true. That's right. That's true. Mathematically most funny.
So on
Let
the
me tell you
contrary-
about. I'm doing the arms right now. Let me tell you about quantum mechanics. Ha ha!
You hear your chair squeaking. Let me tell you about quarks.
You better be adding some effects in post.
Absolutely not.
If you don't get that sample that goes ba-dum bum everywhere in the second episode, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
But,
can you just go laugh track like in really inopportune times throughout this episode?
Oh yeah, I can get a built-in custom laugh track from TNG.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I just left my VPN on, ba-dum bum.
The way you say "but bum."
Well, but he didn't really go. You want to think he said like because,
you have an accent when you say it. What's going on with that?
That's the.
Hang on, I gotta put on the New York, New York guy.
Oh.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like what's it? What's his New York guy, like a Humphrey Bogart kind of, or like what's his name, the singer, Sinatra voice, right? Because a lot of those jokes are very like something Sinatra would say between sets, and that's I think what they were kind of going for there, Yeah, I mean, yes.
I didn't know Sinatra did like jokes.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I just knew he was like a womanizer and probably had like tons of STDs.
That's probably true of the comedian
STDs a big deal
that's on
during
stage,
Sinatra's
too.
time?
Yeah.
No, they hadn't invented them yet.
Oh, lucky.
But
Tell that one again.
Yeah.
What about Rodney Dangerfield? Like a Rodney Dangerfield kind of thing too. That's a very similar kind of nexus of things, right?
Yeah. Rodney Dangerfield doesn't bother me nearly as much, I guess.
I like Rodney Dangerfield's
right.
comedy a lot of the time.
You know, you had a good riff there, Kira, to open the episode on. So so we'll go ahead and do the intro again.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to welcome
yeah.
to excuse me.
But I'm bummed.
I can just imagine you doing the arms.
I am.
That's how they're doing it so good. They've got the arms. All right. Maintain arms, just like wiggling back. Can you tell I'm wiggling by the sound of my? Here, I'll go faster. Just maintain the
now
arms
I can tell.
going back and forth over and over again. I got real loose with it there.
Okay, so the thing with this episode is that Data's pursuit of comedy is supposed to be like the B plot, like the filler side plot that we're not supposed to be like focusing on. We're supposed to be like a nice little like relief from like the main plot. But the main plot sucks so fucking hard that this is the best part of the episode is the side little B plot.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a better word for that? Is it B plot? I don't
know.
know.
You're right. You're 100% right. Yeah.
Okay.
B plot.
Yeah, this is like actually the only saving grace, if there was a saving grace of this episode, is Data and his pursuit of comedy. Because the weird playboy who is not selling it, by the way, he's not actually pulling it off. But apparently, the women actresses were paid to pretend that they are swept off their feet by him, so they're trying their best to do it, but it's not believable in the least that he's actually a womanizer. Like he's just like a creepy guy who thinks he's like really hot shit. And then he's like, oh no, I'm everyone's trying to get me, and then we're all supposed to be all intrigued as his story, and then like the fucking ending with the who cares? Sorry, I know I'm supposed to be like enthusiastic about Star Trek, and I am. I love Star Trek.
You are not
but I
supposed
just
to be
think
enthusiastic about Star Trek on
sucks.
this show. On this show, Kira, enthusiastic about Star Trek. We hate Star Trek here on Left Trek.
You're not gonna put this in the episode, though, right? You're gonna cut this out in post, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. You're not gonna tell all your listeners that we actually all hate Star Trek.
This will go up on the Patreon. Don't worry.
Oh no!
If you want to find out about how much we hate Star Trek, go ahead and check out the Patreon.
You know what? I could be wrong. This could be a great episode, and I'm just really closed-minded. Is this a really great episode?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Not under any fucking. This is like a sub-season. Like a lot of season 1 episodes were like bad, but like interesting in some way. This sucks. This
so
sucks like
filler.
Fucking Stargate. Like this is what kind of bad is this? This is a different kind of bad than we typically get in Star Trek. This is
boredom.
I want to say
Boredom?
Stargate. I want to say Stargate bad, but like typically Stargate is bad because it has like the weirdest like liberal jingoism that has ever been put to screen. Not the movie, the show.
For sure.
Just to ignore all the haters. Well, there's probably a lot of fans of the show Stargate. Sorry, fans, that show sucks.
Hey,
okay,
if you like Stargate,
I've never watched the Stargate show, so I am not to be. If you're mad at Eric, do not be mad at me because I don't know anything about it. Okay, thanks. Go ahead, Brian.
The opinions of Left Trek is not representative of KiraChats Incorporated.
That's right.
Hey, fans of Stargate, SG1. Fuck you. That's all I gotta say.
Whoa! Jeez.
Taking a bold stance here, you know.
God.
No, I'm kidding. It's fine. It's like the West Wing in space more than Star Trek is, which is really saying something. But
that's true. That's true.
Oh, that sounds like a horrible show.
Yeah,
it's If you want to hear like if you want to hear like what's like a super intelligent like altruistic alien race from like another franchise, if you want to hear the fucking I'm trying to make a reference to Mass Effect. I don't remember Mass Effect well enough. if you want to hear some like altruistic, super advanced race of like precursor aliens talk about American exceptionalism, talk about the rightness of American exceptionalism, then go ahead and check out Stargate SG-1, one of the worst shows ever made. This is like New Trek bad. I just realized, yeah, because Okana really feels like a New Trek character. Did either of you watch? Oh, I know you didn't, Brian. But Kira, did you watch Discovery long enough to get to their portrayal of Harry Mudd from the original series?
I do not recall how far I got into Discovery, but I think it's because I kind of just couldn't process the show.
It's awful.
It was just like it was. Listen, if you're into Discovery,
I hate you.
these do not reflect. These opinions do not reflect the opinions of KiraChats TM Enterprise.
KiraChats LLC.
LLC, trademark. Everyone's allowed to like what they like. If you like something that I don't like, fine. Even if I say, hey, it's a bad show, it's bad for me. If it's good for you, that's great. A lot of people don't like Discovery, but if you like Discovery, you know what? More power to you. For me, I couldn't get into it. I hear it's gone better. I hear it has like a lot of.
They always say that. They say that about everything.
I know they always say that,
true.
but the thing is, they're usually when people say that, oftentimes they're correct. Actually,
they said it about No Man's Sky. They said it about Fallout.
Okay, No Man's Sky was ridiculous. That's bullshit. Like, sorry, No Man's Sky. Okay, No Man's Sky, quote unquote, did get No Man's Sky did get quote unquote better, but it was still, in my opinion, not a great game, and also it's still a scam. They still haven't delivered on the whole reason. They gained so much publicity off of this fake game that they never made. This game that they described, that's the whole reason any of us have even considered, even know about No Man's Sky. There's so many games that like you just like fly around and you land on a planet. That's like a lot of games. But No Man's Sky's like, ooh, we're gonna do procedural generation. We're gonna have like all these like infinite like possibilities, different worlds. Every world's gonna be different, and you might, it's a it's not that it's single player. It's a multiplayer universe. You're just such a big universe. You'll never run into any other players. That's the thing. And it's like they had all these like promises, and you show up, and it's just like the same fucking planet, just ever so slightly tweaked, with some of the literal same organisms, like the Venus flytrap thing and whatever, like the curled up little like plant that like hits you. Like that's on so many planets. What procedural generation? What?
But Kira, Sony made them lie. Sony did it.
What?
Sony
Wait, are you actually being for real? Is this what they're actually trying to say?
Yeah, this is what the No Man's Sky defender are trying to say. No, it wasn't Sean Murray. It was Sony, the evil monsters at Sony. They made them lie to hype up the game. Oh God, if it wasn't for Sony, they would have been so honest about their wonderful product. And now they're doing the same thing about their next game. They're really hyping it up. Well,
they have another game.
I think I recall them talking about. I recall listening to some No Man's Sky defender talk about like oh yeah, well okay, so now they're saying some similar things about their next game, but it's like yeah, and you know what the issue is with that? You know what the psychological mechanism here is that the people that defend these things, they're like, oh, it got better. They're the same people that were into it in the first place. They can't be trusted. They liked it when it was bad.
Yeah.
You think now they're the ones saying it's good now? No, you liked it the whole time.
You know
that's a fair criticism of me. That's a fair criticism of me.
Wait, you like No Man's Sky?
Yeah, I do. To my great shame.
Okay, the KiraChats LLC would like to distance itself from Trash Can 1312.
This is all
officially.
incredibly fair. This is incredibly fair. No, I mean, here's the thing.
Okay, I want to say one more thing.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not saying this about you because I don't know your position, but the No Man's Sky defenders, when they say it's gotten better now, like, base building? Really? Base building. Base building in a game that's about you traveling exploring the procedurally generated infinite universe.
I so agree.
And you're now quote unquote improving the game by making me build a log cabin on a planet. Are you kidding me?
I could not fucking agree with you more. It's like they're talking about like, oh, it's so fun and like relaxing to like explore this.
It's not. Like, I've tried it. It sucks
this
still.
Infinite universe. Oh, but I'm gonna make a base that I can just come back to. That defeats the whole point of your game.
Your base is your ship. That's supposed to be your base.
Like it's driving me insane. And the worst part is like listen, Elite Dangerous, I hate Elite Dangerous. It has a lot of problems. I hate Elite Dangerous. I hate the people that develop Elite Dangerous. I hate the people that play Elite Dangerous, including myself. But Elite Dangerous does this same thing so much fucking better in so many more interesting ways that it drives me nuts hearing people talk about No Man's Sky, which is this most fucking boring game. And this
to me, yeah.
You know what the psychological mechanism behind it is? Oh no! I'm sorry. I already explained it. But yeah, it's like this horrible little conflux of like the sunk cost, where these people get into this thing and then like, oh, it's not quite as bad. This is how Brony started, by the way. The people get into this thing that like they hear is really bad, and they're like, oh
my god.
Well, I guess it's not that bad. I guess it's actually kind of good, and everyone else hates it, and so everyone else hating it like makes you defensive for like kind of liking it in some way, and so then they're just the infinite fans for life. And this is such like a strong mechanism. I'm convinced this is like a target demographic. Like this is like how they try to market like DC movies now, where like the worst DC will make like the worst fucking movie you've ever seen in your entire life, and it'll be like, the critics wanted to silence this movie, but you, the fans that have been invested since Man of Steel, you're gonna love it. We made this like $1 billion franchise. We made it for you, the fans. It's like kids.
All right, I want to hear Brian's because we cut off Brian. Brian, what do you have to say for yourself?
I think it's neat.
Defend yourself.
I just think it's neat.
No, I totally understand all the criticisms, and I understand thinking it's a boring game. It's fine. It's like totally, and being mad at the developers for lying about what they were going to be delivering. Yeah, you should be mad at them about that. Absolutely. But when it comes to just looking at what the game is like, it's neat. It's fun.
How much have you played the game?
Let me take a look.
4,000 hours.
That's not far off.
Boring games are
what
a lot of fun.
What do you do with that? What do you do in the game after like 10 hours?
Nothing. You don't do anything.
How many hours I have in it?
You get to the center of the galaxy, and then
they just like reset you or something, right?
Yeah, it takes you to a quote unquote new galaxy, which is exactly the same as the old galaxy. Ad infinitum. And saying it's a boring game, that's not true. I love boring. There are so many boring games that I love. I just got finished playing a game that's literally like you watch like a guy who's like 6 pixels walk around in a fucking loop, and you know why you do it is so that you can get like 100 words of dialogue every once in a while. Like that was the only driving force for that game, and I loved it. It was great. It's called Loop Hero. I recommend it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, I get that. It's a puzzle game, right? So you're playing a puzzle game, and that's fun. I understand why that's like stimulating and all that.
But it's great.
So solitaire.
Driving a fucking truck in a video
Shut
game.
Up, let me finish. It's bitch.
Boring.
Let Brian finish.
Sucks.
There's a lot of cool things about Loop Hero. You've got a puzzle that you're trying to solve. You're trying to like optimize things, right? Where No Man's Sky, what the game is kind of a meditation on like a nihilistic meditation on kind of like the meaninglessness of your actions and all that stuff. And I can understand that being unappealing to a lot of people. That's fine. But that is kind of what it is, and I think that's interesting.
I just think that's called bad game design.
I mean, that's okay.
interesting.
Like your investment of time is where it doesn't actually like lead to anything substantial. That's just a bad game.
No,
I mean, that's kind of all video games, though.
No,
isn't it?
No, it's not.
Brian,
I mean,
it's not.
but it is. It's all kind of
look-
meaningless.
That's a
Oh
great
my God.
example, actually, Brian, because Loop Hero is actually about exactly that. The difference is that Loop Hero is actually about that, and No Man's Sky is only about that as part of a psychological consequence of wasting your goddamn time doing nothing.
I don't care about the intention behind it. Like, what I'm saying is that like the product that they ended up turning out is that. And whether or not that was like their intention of creating that, or the like development of them being like shitty developers, it's like kind of immaterial to me. I like the game on its own. That, you know, I'm totally willing to say that the people who made it fucked up a lot, and like that's important to note. But like the game itself has a lot of things going on that I find interesting.
Well, this gets to the point where I can no longer, unfortunately, just say that you're objectively wrong about enjoying art. So that's unfortunate, because that's what Left Trek is about. It's about objective analysis of art and the rightness of my opinions on it.
And that's why when we say this episode sucks, we're making an objective statement.
I think we officially have enough content to go to put onto the Patreon.
Amazing. Yeah, okay. I mean, let's get back to the episode. Let's do it. Okay.
Well, we'll do a quick ad here. I don't know when I'll insert this, but so KiraChats, who's joining us once again here, who knows how I'm going to cut this thing up. We actually have a I don't know how much we advertised it. We certainly did before, but let me just say again, we have a whole 100% bonus episode on the creepy Geordi episodes, the episodes where Geordi makes a sex slave hologram about a woman and then meets her in real life and is really creepy to her. That's all up on the Patreon. It's actually great. It's a great episode. Yeah. It's some of my best editing work. I will say I'm actually very proud of some of the things that I got done in that one. But I highly recommend it. $3 a month, folks. You gotta go check it out. You want to hear more KiraChats talk about. You want to hear KiraChats in the prime KiraChat space of talking about a man who's creepy, then you need to check out this Patreon episode. It is fire. It's a fucking bomb. Expect more bonus episodes in the future going up on Patreon. By the way, I got a lot of ideas here. I got a lot. And also our new series that we'll be starting soon, Left Trek After Dark, where it's just basically just me and Brian rambling about some crap that's tangentially or directly related to Star Trek.
You know, it's funny.
Are you having guests for that?
Yeah, we can do whatever we want with that.
Yeah, we're
you should, if you have an episode about the Maquis, just talking about the Maquis, I would love to be part of that.
That's something I want to do for like a full bonus episode. But you know, there's
all
a lot to talk about.
I want to be a part of that, regardless. Somehow.
I in my notes up top, I actually have bonus episodes ideas, and I think one of them literally says like, talk about the Maquis with insert dead name here. KiraChats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So depending on how I cut this up. Hi, folks. Welcome.
Oh my God.
So
don't
worry, it's all going on Patreon. It was some fire. It was some fire content. We were spitting there.
We were spitting, in fact. So that all. But talking about the Patreon episode for Creepy Geordi, actually dovetails perfectly with this episode that we're talking about. The outrageous Okana, because oh my God, this motherfucker.
Yeah, he's gross.
That's I'll just keep the original intro. It's fine. I'll just move it somewhere else.
You'll figure it out.
I think we have like 3 intros at this point, so you probably have a decent amount of intro.
we have one intro, then 2 like abortive like 1/4 of an intro that I
They
start
keep the first intro.
Yeah, the first one's gonna be fine.
I'm not actually stressing about this. Don't worry, I can do whatever I want with all of this. I'm a confident video editor now. I'm set in my ways and my skills.
Very good. Can we talk about the episode?
So we open this episode with some very intense exposition. I don't know if you two remember this, but they really lay out this premise pretty fucking thick. I tried to capture it all down. So they're in the Omega Sagittal system, where they have twin planets that form the Coalition Medina. Both worlds are populated by a humanoid race that colonized the planets 2 centuries ago, which now coexist under a precarious but successful treaty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they really went for it with the setting on this one, which they don't work on really at all beyond just being like, yeah, 2 factions.
Do you so how Kira, do you remember this setup? How important would you say is this setup going forward?
Not. It's not.
This is one of the first things about this episode: the incredibly poor pacing on fucking everything. To the even the opening exposition is just like long and drawn out, like the sentence that I'm saying right now, just pointless and drawn out and establishing things that we've already established several times. It's a real left track classic, this episode. So they come immediately. They come across just some fucking ship. They're just like, oh yeah, we're in the system. I guess we're hanging out. Why are they? By the way, why are they there? Why are they there?
No idea. I don't think they talk about it. They just are there.
Right? Am I crazy? They don't talk about this at all. Right?
They just say that they are. As far as I remember, they just say that they are there, and that this is what the place is like. And that no reason to be there. Just I don't know. Just riding. They're just like on the Sunday drive. You know, they're just going around. Having a little bit of fun, keeping an eye on the Federation, because they're the flagship, I guess. Show a little bit of presence. I don't know. I'm making all this up. They don't say any of it.
they're just chilling. They very very intimately describe just where they're like hanging out completely neutrally in space. Like in that previous episode, they established that they're like, oh yeah, we've in order to save power, we've like set ourselves adrift and we're going through this one system, and then something happened. Is that the drug one?
I don't remember. Yeah.
But so they just come across some fucking ship. It's just right there, and they're like, oh yeah, we picked up a ship on our sensors. It's being manually piloted. It's armed with lasers. Their autopilot isn't working, so I guess let's go fix their shit. Let's just go and fix them up. So here we get star character Okana, who in my notes, my voice to text kept picking up as O'Connor. So if I freeze for a moment before I say Okana, it's because I'm reading O'Connor and I'm trying to in my mind correct it back to Okana. Akira, since this is probably like your favorite character thus far in Star Trek, can you describe the introduction of Okana, or of Okana himself?
Yeah, he is. I forget if he talks to them through the what do you call it? Oh my god, I'm blanking.
The view screen.
Yeah, the view screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I forget if he talks to them like that, but I just remember when he shows up in the transporter room, and he's extremely dashing and is sweeping all the women off their feet, even though at first the woman that he's targeting, he's preying upon, doesn't seem all that into him. So he keeps insisting that she's into him, and then all of a sudden she's into him. So I found it to be, that's the man of my dreams material right there.
He's got a really big ponytail in a leather wrap and like a very fancy vest. And this is a classic case of peacocking.
Peacocking.
I don't know if we have any. Yeah, I know, right? Often used in the pickup artist community to describe wearing something weird to get people to talk to you. So that's Captain Okana, our pickup artist, captain of the cargo ship, not unnamed. Just coming in and just using all those classic tactics created by men wearing top hats in Las Vegas to pick up throughout the episode several women. I was, sadly, it would have been really cool if they had been like, yo, what if he was picking up everybody and be like, oh, it's the 23rd century. Oh yeah.
But no,
there were a couple moments I thought that he was gonna like hit on guys, but it didn't manifest, and I'm sad.
Yeah, doesn't even hit on like older women. It's just like one exact demographic of women.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so when we first see him, and this goes into the overall like man. It's even just starting to talk about this episode is miserable, because this is the hackiest, laziest episode. This is my least favorite episode of the Next Generation thus far. That includes all of the racist ones. Even it is so fucking boring. Oh my god. And it's hacky. It's like boring in like a hacky way too. Like oh Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so when he comes onto the view screen, he's not facing it. He doesn't care. He accepted this communication. Clearly, he had to like accept like the communication in order to put it on the view screen. They didn't just like hack into his view screen and like turn on his webcam like the FBI. Like he had to turn his view screen on, and then in order to maintain his devilish rogue character, he spun back around and started working on stuff. So that's what we see. We see his ass first, and they're like, oh, they seem to be having a problem with your thing, and like, oh well, if you know my problem, can you fix it? They're like, yeah, sure, go ahead and beam over. And then Troy goes ahead and reads the like the direction notes for this actor. She defines his character as a devilish rogue. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Data doesn't know what rogue means, I guess. I that's a weird one. I know they also treat Data like whoever wrote this episode is my fucking mortal enemy, because they also treat Data like it's early on in the Next Generation, and Data regresses even in this fucking episode. Jesus fucking Christ. There's a so he on the view screen, he hears they like call down to the transporter operator, who unfortunately is not Chief O'Brien at this point, because we could have gotten a whole different, much cooler version of Okana. But no, it's a lady that answers the comm, and then the Okana, he spins around and he goes, "Is that a femoid I hear?" and so they beam him over, and then and he has like, oh my god. Okay, so there's this incredibly there's also the scene of like weird forced tension where they have to like move his ship. This just goes back into the pacing. Like, oh my god, this needed an editor so bad. There's a whole scene that needed like a new miniature of his ship just like moving. It's like there's like tension music playing, and the ship is just very carefully moving into like the direct position, and Riker's like micromanaging Wesley. He's like, easy, all right, be careful, okay, engage tractor beam now. It's like, what is the tension here? Why does he need to be in this perfect position to operate the tractor beam in order for them to be transported over? Like, I'm already this is like 30 seconds into the fucking episode. I'm already going insane.
And why does this scene need to exist at all? I mean, it's all kind of inferred that we're gonna tractor the ship, and it's like, okay,
This is
we'll just put it in there. Why? Why do you need that? Why do you need to have the ship like align so that it can be tractored, and then the captain can offload onto the Enterprise? It's just like needless fluff. Are they trying to show off their special effects budget? What?
This is like stage play, like level that we're at right here. This is awful. Oh my god, so he beams onto the ship, and immediately like the shot on the right side, you see this hot babe with big curly 80s hair, and she's operating the transporter, and so Okona, he says something racist to Worf, who asks for his weapons, and then of course he asks for his secret weapon. Like that in and of itself is very hacky. Like aha, I need your weapon, and now I need the second weapon that you've carried on you that I know you have. And they always have the second weapon. It's like that.
I mean, at least it wasn't a secret. He was openly carrying it. It was a big knife.
Yeah,
like,
it was a big ass knife. That's true.
But that he didn't register it as a weapon. He's just like, oh wait, it's more of like an ornament. It's like, okay, bud. All right, buddy.
Dude's a dick, unlikable, but we're supposed to like him. We're supposed to be like, wow, I guess I changed my mind. Because he's actually quite like reasonable and like a nice guy and not a creep. No,
he didn't just like swoon immediately. It just his immediate sex appeal.
It's Han Solo.
Yeah, they're trying to do a Han Solo.
Yeah.
I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Okay, so yeah, he hands Wesley the stupid component. He skips right over Data and it goes to Wesley. He's like, hey, you must be the commander. Now he's joking. This is like a joke he's making, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't. Yeah. He hands like, oh yes, this child that for some reason they brought to the transporter room. I'll hand him the component. I'm just a fun guy. I'm just a funny guy. I thought he was being like racist to Data then at that point. Like, but I guess I get benefit of the doubt.
No, that comes later.
Benefit for the doubt of a Andrew Okona, the outrageous Andrew Tate. Oh my, yeah. And Okona starts to like. Okona starts executing techniques pioneered in classic Federation literature, the game. He's talking about how, and everyone is talking about, like, as he goes up to this transporter operator and starts like harassing her at her job, everyone's just in the background being like, this Okona guy is pretty fucking cool. Look at him ply his trade on this unsuspecting WOM. He's such a, I just have in my notes, I hate this dumbass, right here. I don't know exactly what scene I said that in. Oh my god. So he's immediately down in engineering. He says that he has flamboyancy to his lifestyle, but does not once show any attraction to men. So this guy's like a loser upon loser.
You missed something. You missed something. Me? There's something really important that happens. As he exits, after getting all up in the transporter chief's business,
he's really close to her. By the way, he's really from second one, he is violating her personal space. He is he is like 2 inches from her face.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like face to face, and somehow she's like into it because the writers hate women. But
no,
as they exit,
she's not into it, and then she's really into it.
She gets really into it.
To the point where she like goes to his room and like expects to have sex with him immediately.
Yeah, it's wild. The writing for this one is absolutely wild. But I wrote it Okona. It's Okona, but anyways, the Okona walks out into the hallway with Data and Wesley. And says, now that's sex appeal.
Oh my god. Oh my
which
god.
killed me.
Oh my
I was
god.
floored. I was just like, you
He
cannot
does say that. How did I not
Do you
write that
cannot
down?
do this.
Do you remember when Worf was trying to like escort him from his room to like the bridge or something? I forget.
Mhm.
And he was like trying to like Worf was gonna fight him.
I've got a whole
But then-
thing on that scene.
But then like they were like, okay, not now. That was like also weirdly sexual. Like Worf was like, not now. We can't do it now. Do it another time. Like it was just like it felt very very gay. Very gay.
If only, God, if only. Worf, yeah, he has many close encounters with Worf, the other toxic man, the other pillar of toxic masculinity in Star Trek. He's like the one character that gets worse in Deep Space Nine.
No, Worf gets better in Deep Space Nine. You can't.
I think
don't know about that.
Specifically.
Okay, that's
with
just my opinion.
Well,
I'm sure I could be pilled.
He's really interesting as like a character. He's much more interesting as a character, but he's also like way worse with the misogyny in Deep Space Nine, especially as he relates as he does his relationship with Jadzia and then later Ezri. He's awful, specifically like in that relationship. Otherwise he's great. Otherwise
I can see that.
for the most part he's amazing. But and that's my like bugbear. I fucking hate.
I just thought he was less
Jadzia
of a
Worf.
failure in Deep Space Nine.
That's true.
Like
They do.
he's
That's
like a
very
massive
true.
failure. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
make him not a chump, which is cool. I mean, he does get better like later on in TNG, but oh my fucking god. I got so he takes Data by the arm after the scene where they're all like chatting with Geordi. Even Geordi is won over by his roguish charm. But he
Of
takes
course.
Data as the arm as they're like walking down the corridors, the corridors, and then they. So the writers of this whole season are real hacky with Data being an artificial life form, and he's a man in the future, and he's talking to Data like he can't stop asking like, what do you feel feelings? Do you get cold? Do you know what love is? Like this is like episode 1 shit right here. This is a man who's living in the science fiction. This is a Han Solo. You can imagine like Empire Strikes Back, and then fucking like Han Solo goes to like CPU. Like, do you know what love is? CPU. I said CPU.
You did, yeah, but
CP3O? What the fuck's his name?
C3PO.
Oh my god. Fuck Star Wars. Imagine they just do that like over and over again, like in every fucking movie. like I'm not a fan of Star Wars, but like, oh my god, this makes Star Wars look like the highest of like sci-fi fiction. So even he's doing it. So Data is escorting him to go fuck the transporter operator. I don't even know why Data's there. He just like, oh yes, I have to escort you to your corridors where the transporter chief is waiting for him to fuck him. Like, this is like 20 minutes later, and his game is so strong that that the transporter operator is just there. It's just immediately. Unfortunately, I said this before, but unfortunately, Chief O'Brien wasn't operating the transporter, or we could have had a very funny scene. And also, like, anytime like a woman appears in this episode, she immediately becomes like an object for Okana to like to like bounce. She's just a prop for Okana to chew on. Like and the scene that you mentioned earlier, Kira, I think is a huge part of that. But unfortunately, we have to go to the B plot. So
unfortunately,
oh god. Oh,
this is a
God.
good part of this episode. Good, you know.
So Data and Guinan are chatting in 10 Forward, and Guinan says that it's bad that Data doesn't know what humor is. Oh yeah, one of the things that Okana was talking about is like, I was like, you don't know what humor is? You don't know how to laugh? You know, funny, like haha funny. Oh god, I hate it. So Data's having like an existential crisis about this, and he goes and talks to Guinan. He's like, is it bad I don't know what humor was? And then she tells a joke, that you talked about earlier, Kira, that I completely fucking agree with you with, is that she tells a joke that's not funny. Like, it's so bad I didn't even understand what the joke was until she explained it afterwards. You know, the highlight of any humor, like telling a joke and then having to explain the joke afterwards. What a super funny thing to happen.
It was a different time in comedy, you know.
It's like,
it was
it's
worse.
Funny. Yeah, right.
But
it's funny because like Guinan's thing is like when Data is telling jokes later, his delivery is apparently the thing that's lacking, I think. And so she's like, you weren't funny, which contradicts her shitty joke, because she's like, no, let me explain it. Like, the explanation should make the joke funny, which would insist that the delivery, like, that has nothing to do with delivery. That's all about like the actual like cogs and like the actual like quote unquote physical bits of the that's not where I'm looking for, not physical, but like the pen and paper reality of the joke. Like, do you understand what I mean? Like, she's criticizing Data's delivery later as if she thinks delivery is an important part of joke telling, which it is. But she then insists that Data doesn't understand her joke as being funny, not because of her lackluster delivery, but because he just didn't understand the joke on an objective level.
Yeah, I'll post a clip right here. She does not deliver it in like I don't think that there's a human being on Earth that would have laughed at this joke. Like, not only just like watching it on the screen, but if they were there on person, there's not a single person to ever live that would have laughed at this joke. Like,
who's hearing
is
Noid?
A fucking Whoopi Goldberg is a fucking comedian, and she couldn't like spice this up. Did they not let her like spice it up a little bit? Like,
who hears the word Noid, the like I guess suffix Noid, and immediately thinks humanoid? Like, nobody. I've never met a single person that would be like, oh yeah, that's it, that's the one. Noid? You mean humanoid? Instead of annoyed, which was like in the text of the joke, right?
Yeah, and that's
like,
how she explains the joke. Like afterwards, it's like, oh yeah, you're a droid and I am annoyed, and then she explains a part of the joke that does not seem like it was intended in the joke. Like the joke should be just that, like, annoyed, that he's a droid and she's annoyed because they rhyme. That's like the entire joke. It's a little pun. And she's like, no, the joke was actually because I'm an oid. I'm a humanoid. He's also an oid. He's a droid. You just said it. How is that part of your joke?
I mean, you know, Noid and Droid are like different things. I get that, but it's just so like the joke was the rhyming. The joke was the rhyming, and it's not very funny. But like then they try to explain it. It's the wrong explanation for that. It's terrible. It's stupid. It's awful. Whoever wrote that should never grace a stage with comedy.
Yeah.
But
who wrote this episode? Who
did this?
Was it Gene Roddenberry's fucking lawyer? Was it him? I swear to God, if this was Gene. I looked in the IMDb trivia and it doesn't say who wrote the episode. And you can't trust like the actual writing credit because that just gets handed around to different people. But like, ooh.
The funniest part of the scene was Data being like, which the delivery was comedic here. You told a joke. I'm not laughing. Maybe it's not funny. No, it was funny. It's me. Where his delivery just is stilted in the right way, where it's like where it's written comedically. I laughed at it. You know, that made me laugh. The joke didn't make me laugh. That did make me laugh.
Yeah, Brent Spiner's acting is the only funny thing in this entire arc about comedy, because he does some funny things every once in a while, and it's entirely carried on his back.
A little earlier in the episode too, Brent Spiner, Data, did a fake laugh at Okana's joke after Okana was like, "Why aren't you laughing at my joke?" And he just goes, hilarious.
Again, very another likable moment from Okana.
Yeah,
very likable Okana.
So likable.
Oh god. And the most annoying part, of course, is that, and the reason that this sticking is that she just insists so strongly, like, no, my joke was funny. Your joke wasn't funny. His joke was funny, by the way. I do like it. Wait, did he even tell a joke? No, he didn't even tell a joke. I'm thinking of a different scene. I'm getting all fucking mixed up in this episode because time is a vortex. Okay, so Data goes to the holodeck and he asks, I don't remember what exactly he asked for. He's like,
the funniest comedian.
Who's the funniest comedian? And the computer's like, oh yeah, I have an objective answer to this. It's the 23rd century comedian. And apparently it's the name of one of like the set designers or something. 23rd century comedian who jokes about quantum mathematics. Like, interesting. Okay. Sure. Like, so he's Oh my god, genius. This is actually genius. That's a genius joke because he asked the computer who the funniest comedian is, and the computer subjectively says her favorite comedian, who of course is just some fucking nerd that makes jokes about quantum mathematics. Oh my god, this writing is actually genius.
That part was funny. Yeah, you're right.
Was that? Do you think that was intended? I don't think that was intended. Was that intended?
I think that was probably intended.
Was that the personality of the computer saying what the computer's favorite comedian is, or was the computer just recognizing looked at like a list of like top like BuzzFeed in like the 24th century top 100 comedians of all time, and he's just at number one. It's this guy.
I guess you got to ask how many people in the 23rd century are really into like who have like the competency in the field to understand those jokes, and therefore I think you have to come to the conclusion that this is the computer saying that the computer thinks this is funny. But I think that in of itself is a joke. Is that in the future everyone's really smart, and so someone that makes jokes about quantum mathematics, that will be like the funniest guy ever in the future. Nah, I don't think so.
I think so. I think my reading of it, that is the computer's thing. I think that's much better. You know what? I don't know if I want to even pretend that was the text or subtext of this episode, because I am so reluctant to give anything in this episode the benefit of the doubt in any way, because I just got so mad watching it, and I'm so mad now recounting it. Like, dear listener, I am sorry for how like weirdly mad I am at this stupid episode. I am so pissed at it. Okay, so Data selects some comedian that I wrote him. I guess that it's an actual comedian, and it is kind of. So the comedian opens with like a super unfunny joke, and there's an extremely long scene where like the hat comedian dude is doing like this awful Jerry Lewis. I'm skipping over like 5 minutes of content here of Data walking into the fucking holodeck and talking to this comedian and trying to learn like what comedy is, and then he starts doing this like Jerry Lewis impression. Is it even? I'm not familiar enough with Jerry Lewis. Is this a good Jerry Lewis that this comedian's doing?
I have no idea.
It's like passable.
Okay, so he's doing a passable Jerry Lewis impression, and the only funny part is when Data, so he gives him like fake teeth in order to sound like Jerry Lewis, and the only funny part of the scene is when Data, like, because he has the teeth in his mouth, starts talking like Jerry Lewis. I thought that was funny.
that was interesting. Yeah,
like for like half of a second before he takes it out, and then he's like talking normally. That was funny. I like that one. So and then Data goes back to 10-4 to tell a joke that he just learned, and the joke, it's a classic. It's a classic. Here, I'll put a clip in right here. Boom. A classic joke, a little joke. If you haven't heard it before, it's funny. It's a little knee slapper. It's a little chuckler. And then Guinan is just fucking just stone faced, just completely. And and it's like and then she's like Data, you ruined the delivery, and it's like, no, he didn't ruin the delivery. You're just jealous because you're you're just jealous because you're mad that like your jokes are bad, and you're not even a being fundamentally incapable of understanding humor. A being fundamentally incapable of understanding humor in any way is telling better jokes than you, and you're coping right now.
This is cope. Also, I have one thing I want to point out. Jerry Lewis was actually scheduled to be on this episode, but he couldn't make it, so they got Joe Piscopo instead.
Oh, was he? I heard that the part was originally intended for Jerry Lewis.
Yeah,
but I didn't know that he was like on board until he couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so this comedian that they have, I guess we'll get to that now. This comedian that they have here, so this is Joe Piscopo. Joe Piscopo, he's doing like a stand-up role in this episode. Joe Piscopo, you can probably tell in the episode, he's not actually a stand-up comedian. In fact, the IMDb trivia says that this. I'm just gonna read this verbatim because it's actually very funny. The selection of Joe Piscopo is rather odd, as his stand-up career material and presentation tended to be just as terrible as unfunny as is seen here. He is primarily a sketch comedian who also did impersonations of Frank Sinatra and played various loud-spoken characters on Saturday Night Live in 1975 during the Saturday Night Live, but he was on there during the 80s when the show was really struggling. That's like one of the early like decline periods of Saturday Night Live before they had a brief resurgence and then crashed again immediately and stayed there forever. And he got fired but he got like let go after like a couple years on SNL too. He was even not funny enough for decline period SNL, and I guess it's like, oh my god, who's the funniest person we have here? We need to get someone in. Well, I guess we have Whoopi Goldberg, but we can't use her because she's already Guinan. This guy that just got let off from Saturday Night Live, we'll use him.
Joe Piscopo. Hey, we should use him. Yeah, why not?
Joe Piscopo, folks.
He can do a little synthetic Jerry Lewis meets Frank Sinatra character on stage. It'll be great.
Oh god. So
stupid.
Jada's about to Guinan like roasts Data over his like bad delivery when he didn't really have, his delivery was not that bad. His delivery was a little dry, and he just doing the hand thing. We all love the hand thing, folks.
Love the hand thing.
She's not even like giving him a smile, like, "Hey, you're on the right track." It's just like some mean. Like it's just like mean.
It really
like,
comes off mean.
Like she like doesn't even crack a smile. If my friend was trying to learn how to do comedy, and like they did what Data did, I wouldn't just stare at them. Not a encouraging smile whatsoever. It's just like being just kind of an asshole.
Just totally fucking blank face. I guess we know how Guinan treats her neurodivergent compatriots. My goodness.
Terrible.
So, but Data gets called up because there's a hostile ship. They're locking lasers onto the ship, and they all laugh because lasers are so useless and antiquated that they can't even get past their navigational shields. Now, okay, this is the most important part of this episode because this is key. This is the key episode to so many nerd arguments over who would win in a fight, like the Enterprise or the Millennium Falcon or any other nerd franchise. And this is the ace in the hole that Star Trek has. So Star Trek technology, typically a lot more significant, a lot more like powerful than the technology in most other like science fiction properties, and that I'm talking about like Warhammer, even like the big ones like Warhammer, Stars Wars, most other things. Star Trek is like way beyond it. It's like asking like Goku to fight I don't know, Who's another guy? It's like asking Goku to fight Rambo. We're just dealing with two different power scales here. It's okay. It's okay, Warhammer. It doesn't matter that your big ships can't touch the Enterprise. It's a different scale. So like they have the fucking Star Destroyer, in Star Wars. And literally any ship can do that in Star Trek. The Enterprise could do that 1,000 times. The Enterprise could destroy ships like 1,000. Could destroy planets 1,000 times faster than the fucking Death Star in Star Wars. It's a different scale, folks. But yeah, so any franchise, any sci-fi universe that uses lasers, boom, canon, doesn't do shit against Star Trek technology. Laser is very antiquated, very bad. So I'm sorry. Can you tell that I got into this argument a lot when I was like a teenager?
I couldn't tell.
The conversation that I had a few times. So the shitty ship is from one of the nearby planets, and they're after Okana, and they want him returned for his crimes. And there's this woman, this young woman who's in the background, and I don't know how obvious it is. Like how much did both of you remember this episode when you were rewatching it?
I remember it enough to be like, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Wait. The only thing I do remember is the comedy. I do remember Joe Piscopo. That's the extent of what I remembered from this episode.
I remember her. I vaguely remember the comedy, and I also vaguely remember that she was pregnant, and that there was a really annoying twist at the end about it.
I didn't remember the twist immediately, but when they got into the same room, I remembered it. Now, I've definitely seen this episode before. But so I don't know how much of it is just like it's very obviously like foreshadowed and drawn out like plot elements, and how much of this is just like me remembering it. But I'm pretty sure it's obvious. Like once they're after Okana, and you just see this young pregnant woman in the background, which I believe you see from the very beginning. It's pretty easy to put two and two together, including the twist at the end. Ooh, stay tuned, there's a twist coming. So okay, so they want Okana for his crimes. Then another ship comes up, and Worf compares it to a Klingon fly, and then Picard stops Data right before Data was about to do an impression of whatever this Klingon fly is, hacky line. Okana is basically like this one guy from Pathfinder Kingmaker. Any Pathfinder Kingmaker heads out there? He's just like Darwin. Okana is this weird like self-insert Han Solo type like fan fiction character. He's straight from fan fiction. I mean,
he does feel very fan fiction-y. Very like
sorry again.
This is somebody who is like very much like some 13-year-old's modded character in Morrowind who's like this character can do this and 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 this.
Yeah, if someone's making an Okana type character, get them out of your D&D campaign immediately. we all know the guy. We all know the guy that makes an Okana. So they're trying to make. They're trying to locate Okana to see what the deal is. Like on the ship, they're trying to locate Okana. And Worf's like, oh, he's been spotted in 3 different crew quarters. So apparently he's just like, they've been on this ship for like 6 hours, and he's just like fucking his way through that entire deck. Like he's had sex with like 7 women apparently at this point.
Wait, I mean, like, are you surprised? Have you seen his moves? He's so charming.
Have you seen his ponytail?
Have you seen his leather wrap ponytail?
Yeah.
You're right. I'm sorry. It's just because me, the delta male that I am, just jealous at this
you're a hater.
At this alpha like heights cucking Wesley Crusher in the I hate these words.
The Shrigma Okana.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said the Shrigma Okana.
Oh god. So they're like, oh my god, he's fucking his way through his ship. Get him down there. So Worf goes down there. He's real pissed, and he opens the door, and knows immediately where Okana is.
He immediately gets horny.
Yeah. And Okana is making out with this beautiful redhead, and Worf barges in and demands that he come with him. So they didn't think about this. There's just this hot wom on this ship, and she's just so into this Okana guy. But let's think about the implications for this redheaded character. Okay, so this redheaded character, she's presumably like a member of Starfleet. She's presumably in Starfleet. Okay, so Worf comes in and she just totally ignores him. She's not a superior officer.
She's intoxicated with Okana.
She's just so horned up that she doesn't care that the security chief just barged in and is taking away
she doesn't have any concern
lover.
about is this man dangerous or what, because she's intoxicated with Okana.
She's not even looking at
He's a
Worf
drug.
when he comes in. Yeah. Oh god. So she's either a crew member, but that wouldn't make sense because she doesn't acknowledge Worf at all, and that's okay. More missed opportunities here, because that would have been funny if she's just horned up and she's just making out with Okana, and then Worf barges in and she has to stand at attention. It's oh sir, that's funny. I would have liked that.
No, but she has to be a completely empty-headed, just objects with genitals that can be penetrated. That's what she is.
She's just so hot and so horny. She's
and
just
no lines.
Yeah, no lines whatsoever. They didn't want to have to pay her. They didn't want to have to even give her SAG minimum. But I think the implication of it, so clearly that's what was intended. She's just a member of the crew, and the sex positive Starfleet here. You can have sex with as many people in the crew as you want. But I like to think of this in death of the author and all that. So the implications here is that no, she's probably not a security she's probably not a member of Starfleet. So the only other option is that she is someone's family member that is on the ship. So if that was true, that would have also been funny if they went with it. But so maybe she's like someone's daughter, and she's actually she's actually like a teenager or something. Okay. You know what? That was in my notes. I didn't deliver it properly, and now you know what? It's getting cut. It's getting put into cybernetic oblivion. It's gone. It's all, as Guided would say, it's not that my joke wasn't funny. It's all about delivery. I just did the delivery wrong. It's fine. And 5 seconds of silence. There we go.
Ba-dum-bum.
So there's a very annoying scene. God, fuck you. I hate that that's funny now. Am I going insane that that's funny now?
Repetition is part of comedy. It's true.
That's a good point. So
we'll come back around again,
So immediately, so in this part of the scene, there's a very annoying thing where he's like, oh my god, he's being taken away from his woman, and so he goes and stands up, he puts his chest out, and he's going toe to toe with Worf here, and then so they're trying to establish Okana oh, he's a badass, he's perfectly willing to go fight Worf, and then Worf's like, I would love to fight you, but I have my orders, and Okana's like, maybe another time then. I fucking hate this guy. But Kira, you have a different reading of this scene, don't you?
Yeah, it feels very gay.
Yeah, I got the same thing.
I don't think that was the intention, by the way. I think that's just toxic masculinity that is not self-aware comes across very homoerotic at times.
Mm-hmm.
It just does.
Yeah.
and it would have been incredible, but you know,
they just started making out.
Oh god,
Yeah, and then they kissed.
I dream for a Star Trek like that. I dream of one. But unfortunately, because of Rick Berman, we did not get one. Because of Rick Berman and Gene Roddenberry for like 5 years, just like screaming like script directions from his deathbed like 3 blocks away. We did not get anything even remotely like non-heterosexual in the entirety of the Next Generation. As a matter of fact, the only time, right? Is that right? Yeah.
Well, so there's
fat
the
positive. Is there any fat positivity ever in? Like, I
don't think so.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think because we talked because it's like if we were talking earlier, or at least I mentioned earlier that like Okana keeps hooking up with like younger women, and like they all seem to be white, right? They're all thin, and they're all younger, and like that tends to be the theme, it seems like, throughout. At least I can't speak for all of TNG because I can't use my head like that right now. I'm just not capable of it. But like,
I think that's true. I think you're 100%.
Yeah, like
correct.
It's not just about like involving queer relationships, or at least, you know, like involving queer relationships. That's definitely something, but I don't think that's the entirety of like, you know, representing different. You know, representing a little bit more of a less like cis heteronormative perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, even the one episode that everybody cites, the one with the non-binary alien, which is, I mean, very cool, very good. Jonathan Frakes, I wish you'd gotten your wish and you could, you could have had your partner played by a man, but. You know, that's just not what they did. You know, that they did a non-binary alien and then still just like, they were like, well, this needs to be played by a woman because otherwise, you know, that'd be gay.
Yeah, if it was just the smallest like actor change, just like if it was played by a male actor, you know, a part of this non-binary race who's identifying as a woman, that would have been great. And that's what Jonathan Frakes want. Like to his supreme credit, Jonathan Frakes continues to be cool. And then presumably Rick Berman, you know, great Renegade Cut episode about this. I'm sorry for all the bad things I said about Renegade Cut in the previous episode. I just don't like your Pulaski episode.
It's just Pulaski.
It's just your Pulaski episode. I like basically all of your other content except for your Pulaski episode, which I fundamentally disagree with. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say already. There's nothing besides the heteronormativity is the rule for the Next Generation, Voyager. Also, now thinking about it, also nothing even remotely gay in Voyager. In fact, Voyager has. I can't wait to do. There's another bonus episode regarding Voyager. Regarding 2 very awful episodes of Voyager. One, the Don't Believe Survivors episode. Sometimes women are just lying. Sometimes women are just making things up. That's an episode of Voyager. That's the plot of a fucking Voyager episode. And then also the maybe racism is good sometimes episode. Maybe racism is right sometimes. And maybe the real JonTron kind of thing here. It's like, oh well these crime statistics you know, maybe Latinos do deserve to be locked up more. Maybe people of color do deserve to be maybe they just commit more crimes. I don't know. That's an episode of Voyager. That's that's the thesis of a fucking Voyager episode. Oh, I'm
yeah.
Sorry, what? Oh, that's another. Anyway, but yeah. So the only time you get something that's not straight is Deep Space Nine, who only does it a few times, and one of those times, like, oh, they do like mirror universe stuff, and where like everyone in the mirror universe is like gay, but it's one of those things where like, oh, they're bi because that's like the evil universe, and everyone lacks morals, and that's why they're bisexual, who want to just fuck everyone all the time. So that's problematic, but that's not actually the people talk about like that being like the first lesbian kiss on Star Trek. That's not it, actually. Wrong folks do writing think pieces about Star Trek. It's actually a very good episode with Jadzia where she meets a host in a previous life, and they make out. That's Deep Space Nine's credit. It's a great episode, highly recommend it. It's like season 2. Deep Space Nine gets off to a real good track real soon, but I digress. I apologize. We have to start talking about the episode again. This is my fault.
We started talking about Deep Space Nine on Left Track? That never happens.
Both of you, I apologize. I'm so sorry. This is my fault. Oh god, where the fuck even was I?
God, we haven't even gotten to the fucking confrontations with the other the claimants to Okana's imprisonment.
Well, at least that's like the end of the episode. Like it's so poorly paced because nothing happens in this whole fucking episode. We were talking about so much, but nothing happens. That's one of the reasons it's so easy to get sidetracked, because there's no point to this episode. Like, I feel like Okana was supposed to be like a returning character, and then thank God he doesn't come back. Like, oh my fucking god, thank God he doesn't come back. Okay, so
hey, do you want me to take over? Because I could speedrun us through the rest of this.
I got it. It's fine. I don't have
okay. All right.
It's fine. There's a very poorly paced, like very long scene. Another one. There's like every scene is long and poorly paced. Every scene needed to be edited like 50%. Picard asking why Okana's being chased by 2 different people, and Okana initially thinks that like Picard asked him up to get in trouble. It's like Picard's like, oh, you're fucking too many of my crewmen. And Okana's like, whoa, I'm sorry. All right, but no,
that's what Okana thought he was called up for. I thought, and then he's like, no, you can do whatever you want.
Socialize as much as you want.
That's how they said it. It's like Picard's like, you can socialize however you want. You're up here because 2 ships are trying to murder you. And it's okay, but they have lasers though. So Picard asks why they're doing this. There's this very long scene. It's kind of obvious that he like impregnated the woman that you see in the background. Is she even there? I don't remember. I may be making it up. Apparently she's there because there's a very unfortunate short-haired woman who doesn't get any lines for a really long time. She's visibly pregnant, and she gets drawn out onto the view screen. Doesn't get a line. She just has to stand there. She clearly got like direction to like just look like very embarrassed and very uncomfortable. And it's like uncomfortable to watch because the actor is so uncomfortable. She's just like going like, oh, like she's like looking away. She's like looking at her feet. She's holding her big baby belly. Okay, so and then the other people come onto the view screen. They suck. They want him because he stole a jewel. Picard's like, Picard does what I do, and people are mad at me on the phone and just mutes them until they're done yelling. And he goes and talks to Okana, skipping over a bunch of really long scenes. Okana realizes after talking to Wesley that maybe this roguish, devilish, sexy lifestyle isn't actually the best. And Wesley's a nerd. He realizes that he needs to surrender himself in an extremely drawn out scene. And as I said before, I don't remember if this is just me remembering the plot of the episode or just how like foreshadowed and drawn out it is, but the young man and the young woman have clearly impregnated one another, and Okana had nothing to do with it. And maybe this is apparent like the moment you see like there's a young man and a young woman like in the same room, so they gotta have some like tension between them.
I mean, they don't make it obvious, but the thing is that they both are like trying to get their parents to stop chasing Okana. They're both like, well, it's not actually. They're both like, I don't know, like because they're obviously lying about something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so the situation is wrong, and everyone can tell, including Picard, who's like, wait, this is like weird and fucked up. Something's going on here.
So Okana says the situation, and then they're like, "Oh, the only reason that we pinned Okana is because they didn't think they'd be able to catch him." Okay, so I didn't write down what the twist is. The twist here is that Okana didn't impregnate. Did I even say that was what the plot was? They're after one of them is after Okana because Okana supposedly impregnated the king of this planet's daughter, and the other one's after Okana because Okana supposedly stole some fucking jewel. The jewel, by the way, is like the cheapest like little prop. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like
just a little lump of plastic.
It's like a baby toy with a screen from a kaleidoscope stuck in it. Like it's like
it looks almost like a brooch, like a really shitty brooch. And that's about it.
Yeah, it's weird, but so Okana didn't actually impregnate the lady, and Okana didn't steal the jewel. The jewel was supposed to be a gift for the kids. For the guy is asking her hand in marriage after she got pregnant with his baby, and they just didn't want to tell their parents because if either of them realized the truth, then they would have immediately gone to war with one another. So they pinned Okana because they didn't think they'd be able to capture Okana. And then they're like, oh my god, you've got to marry this guy now, and the woman, she's being obstinate. She's an obstinate woman all of a sudden, and she's like, no, I'm not marrying anyone, and Dad's like, well, okay, fine, then marry Okana. I don't know why they already revealed that he's not the child. Why does this guy want to why does this guy want his daughter to marry Okana? I don't understand. It's a weird scene. That's a weird line they didn't talk about. Almost like the script wasn't edited properly. And it was just fucking Gene Roddenberry's lawyer just shoving his fucking screenplays down down the throat of this whole production. Like
the one thing is that
what happens for fucking ages.
It's supposed to be a reference to how, like, if somebody got pregnant out of wedlock, that, like, nobody was going to marry them afterwards. And it's framed as being this archaic thing. But very much is still in the logic of the episode, like, what you're supposed to, like, believe. I don't know. Like, I don't think that it was really, like, did a good job of trying to, like, criticize that. It just ended up putting it in there.
Yeah, it's tacky and poorly edited. Yeah. So she's mad now. She doesn't want to marry anyone. And then Okana has to sit down and use his sexy rogue powers to talk to this woman into acting properly and stop being defiant for no reason.
He puts his fingers under her chin and like tilts her head up to look at him, and then it's very, but it's charming and sweet actually.
Yeah,
so.
It's
not
so
creepy.
Gross. It's like a scene right out of like fucking like 50 Shades of Grey. Like it's so gross. So he has to use his sexy dom powers and like it puts his finger under the chin, like talk like, no, you see, you need to stop acting independently and listen to me. You go marry that man. Amazing
that he didn't call her a kitten at that point, you know. Like I just like, kitten, you're going to have to marry that man, you know. Like, you know, I like it just would have fit in that scene too well. And that's you know, that's that scene. Yeah.
Yes, and they immediately reconcile because Okana is such a cool guy. He's a rogue and a diplomat, and so it turns out Okana was ferrying them back and forth between planets to have sex and like I think that under Federation law constitutes Okana as a sex trafficker, but okay. You put that joke's getting cut too. Wait, hold on, 5 seconds out. And there we go. I'm sorry.
But I'm bummed.
I'm sorry. Shut the fuck up. Stop highlighting my shame with your comedy. Yes. So Data, so that gets resolved, that situation. They're gonna get married, and then the father is like, playfully like, aha, you're gonna live on my planet. Like, no, you're both gonna live on my planet. And the Picard's like, okay,
how are they gonna get along? Ho
oh, this is what a funny situation this is. We'll just let you guys take care of that somewhere else.
They're just a regular Montague and Capulet, except their kids aren't dead, and that's and that's beautiful.
If only everyone died at the end of this episode.
That would have been better.
You're right.
But don't worry.
The entire ship blows up. Finally. Release.
Thank God.
It's kind of that scene of the Enterprise like spinning before it explodes. So thank God that it doesn't have to close on that, because Data is back down at the Holodeck Comedy Club, and Data he's practicing he's down there with Guinan. He's practicing his Type 5, and then they quickly realize that, oh no, the audience is programmed to laugh at anything, and you think that would be resolved by like Data being like, turn down audience cooperation by 50%, something like that, and they're like, no, you can't do it at a holodeck. Holodeck characters are fundamentally incapable of not laughing at what you're they're fundamentally incapable of not going along with what you're doing.
It was like a really annoying, like, human, like, supremacist kind of like, only real human beings can handle and laugh at comedy. You can't replicate such things with machines.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. I didn't even fully pick up on that. You're so right. Yeah, and that's emphasized by like the next line where like they're walking out of the holodeck and Data's like, well, what if I reprogram the audience to, and that's supposed to be like a futile thing. It's like, no, that's how you'd solve the issue. That would solve the issue. That's like that's a good idea, actually, Data.
Yes, you should do that.
yeah, just do that. So Guinan's like, don't worry about it, whatever. Then Data accidentally, then they're back on like the bridge. I don't even remember what happens. Data tells a joke. I didn't remember what the joke was, even though I wrote that note talking about it like 5 seconds after the joke. And then it's just some hacky scene of them. Something he tells a joke and it's like on accident, and then he laughs and he starts telling like more jokes, and then like they're not funny, and so they're like, warp speed, let's get the heck out of here. I'm surprised they didn't just scream at Data to shut up like they usually do. That's me trying to channel Zotz, and Zotz is not able to join us today.
Yeah. Zotz
died.
Cues snore sound effect.
Yeah, so we were watching this with Zotz last night, and Zotz literally did fall asleep in a it started recording. It started snoring in a way that I wish I recorded, because it sounded like he was groaning at first, and I was like, yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. This is a real groaner in this episode, but it was literally like
yeah. I thought it was Eric, because Eric had food poisoning. And I was like, this is Eric expressing anguish at stomach problems. No, it was Zotz snoring in the most terrifying fashion. Yeah.
So that was, but yeah, okay, whatever. That's the outrageous Okona thoughts.
Don't watch it. Or if you do watch it, just skip all the parts with Okona. Just watch fucking...
Yeah, just watch Data.
Yeah, just Data.
Don't watch that either. Just skip it.
No, watch the Data stuff. It's backwards, but
don't listen to these. Don't listen to them. You should watch the whole episode. You should make a whole night out of it. You should invite your friends over and say, I'm going to introduce you to Star Trek, and show them this.
Yeah, show them this episode.
You can say that Left Trek sent you, too.
Yeah, but it's your friend.
The funniest episode to try to get someone into Star Trek on. Oh my god!
They'd be like, "What the hell?"
All right, acquire all of your frenemies in one place, right?
Right.
And then put this episode on and be like, I love Star Trek. You should watch this with me. And then they'll watch it and they'll be like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And you've just solved your friend problem. All your frenemies will leave.
Yeah.
If you really need to lose a friend, strongly recommend them this episode. Alternatively, if there's a friend who's expressing interest in the dangerous activity of getting into Star Trek and you really want to discourage that, recommend them The Outrageous Okana. It's a great way. And then say like, oh yeah, this is basically what the whole series is like. It's another great way of doing it.
Yeah, at the end of it, you look at them and say, with a smile on your face, if you like that, you should catch the rest of the series. Just act like it's supposed to be really good.
Yeah.
Do it.
Act like Okana just like returns constantly. It's like, oh yeah, he's in like basically every episode for like
you should take your
almost the rest
friend's
of the whole
chin
season.
with your hand and tilt up their head and look at them and be like, did you like what you just saw? And then they're gonna love it.
Yeah, just
Don't do that, actually.
And
Please
call
don't
your
do
friend
that.
and call
Do
your
that.
friend.
The opinions of KiraChat LLC does not
Yeah,
represent
don't
left
do that,
Track.
actually.
Yeah, don't actually do that.
Don't actually do that.
Please do not please do not grab people's chin and point them towards
Don't
their
try
face
to
without
50
their
Shades of
consent.
Grey your friends.
Don't
even
touch
do it
people
with
without their
someone's
consent,
consent.
please. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Don't do that.
Don't touch people with their consent, but also don't touch them in this way with their consent either. Like, just don't even think about doing the things that Okana does. Yeah.
Okana's a bad role model, everybody. Okay, you gotta remember that. Please don't be like Okana. I mean, if you wear a ponytail, don't tie it up in leather. You sicko. Don't wear a vest that looks like it's got eyeballs all over it. Like what? And most of all, just like, kill the rogue in your head. Okay.
Mhm.
You're not Han
like-
Solo.
Kill the
Yeah, and if
devilish
a woman's
rogue in your heart.
recoiling, if a woman's recoiling when you're talking to her, it doesn't mean she just needs to be talked to a little more, and then she'll go to your quarters in 20 minutes to fuck you.
Yeah, don't take off the
Despite what
top
this
hat.
episode might insist.
It really is. So, I mean, obviously we talked about it a lot, but it really is like some of the game stuff. This is really like what pickup artists like try to espouse as like the way that you communicate with with women. Like, oh yeah, you just talk to them, you just be real forward with them, and then when they say like mean things to you, just I don't know, say just joke back, and then suddenly they'll start falling for you, and then you could fuck them like 20 minutes later.
Anyway.
What?
Whoa.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Anything else to say about this episode? God,
I'm sorry.
sorry.
I hope tell your friends to watch us get mad at Star Trek.
We at Left Track would like to apologize to friend of the show, KiraChats. I'm sorry for bringing you onto this episode.
What do you mean? It's my favorite episode. I love this episode.
Okay. You must have missed all of the bad parts because you were just swooning just so hard every time Okana
intoxicated.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, one last funny thing about this episode. So this guy, the guy who played Okana, was a contender for the role of Riker. And apparently,
oh no!
So Gene Roddenberry specifically was preferred this guy. If this was all up to if Gene Roddenberry wasn't like on his deathbed and all his opinions were being filtered through like 3 people, then this probably would have been Riker, this guy. But the studio insisted on Jonathan Frakes, and just a round of applause for the studio, please.
Good job, studio. Joe Piscopo as Riker would be unwatchable.
No, not Joe Piscopo. Billy Campbell, who played
Okana guy. Yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad. I think that's what you said. I just got it mixed up.
Yeah.
No, that's awful too.
Imagine if Okana was. Imagine if this Okana guy was fucking Riker. This show would have been gone, and this show would have aired one episode.
He's not like bulky enough. Like, you need to be like like Riker works well because he's like bigger, just physically. I don't know. I can't imagine a smaller, frailer Riker.
I mean, it helps
like a
that
Twinkie
Riker,
kind of Riker. I can't
Twinkie
imagine that at all.
Riker.
Yeah, that Riker is daddy, while Okana is just kind of a flimsy little twink.
He's a flimsy twink. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, who cares about that? He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy. Imagine if Riker was just a little guy.
It'd be awful. Riker needs to be daddy.
Yeah, 100% agree.
He's got a great actor portrait though. Look at this guy. He grew into it. He's looking good.
Yeah. But no Riker though.
Yeah, he's
no Frakes.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Fuck
Jonathan Frakes is beautiful to this day. Like just
he is
pure daddy energy, just going forever in perpetuity. Jonathan Frakes is just gonna look like amazing in that role. Where like we're looking at what's his name, Billy Campbell. Billy Campbell, maybe it works a little bit now with the beard, but imagine that child with a beard, and no.
Dude, this is weird. When the episode first aired, that scene with the fucking lasers was different. Like Picard was like unclear about like lasers' effect on the Enterprise, and he asks Worf like hey, what are lasers able to penetrate our shields? And Worf's like, they can't even penetrate the navigational deflector. I don't know when did that supposedly change? It was kind of a change to like the Blu-ray release. I don't know. You know what? And at least this episode didn't have Pulaski in it. Can you imagine if instead of Guinan was if this was instead of Guinan?
I actually don't really mind Pulaski. But that's a whole other conversation.
We've been rewatching these scenes and our
this is my No Man's Sky take that y'all are gonna hate me for.
well, like. We've been rewatching these Pulaski episodes recently, and she is so mean to Data.
Yeah, she is mean to Data, and she sucks towards Data. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree.
Fair.
I just don't think every character needs to be likable for them to be good characters.
I mean, that's true.
That's fair. I agree with you, actually. But as like a Data stan, it's awful.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge Data stan, so it hurts. I'm a big like a sentient AI like advocate in a weird way. Like I know that's not like a thing that we really have to like be concerned about right now, but like eventually if it is, I think this works really really like well with my veganism. Like people just like assuming lesser of non-human like intelligence and non-human life, and just assuming that it doesn't need to be like considered life or considered like having personhood. So like we don't really have sentient, like we don't have Datas right now, but like yeah, like I don't like how Pulaski is toward Data. It sucks super hard, and I think it has some really like bad connotations beyond just sentient androids. Like it has racist connotations, absolutely. It has like speciesist connotations, absolutely. Like, but I still like Pulaski in the show. I don't know.
I like Pulaski too. I like Pulaski as her, a character. I think her actor is really great. I think that sells.
Yeah, I think she's fantastic. I think she's cast really well.
Our Pulaski hate. Yeah, well, I get
the Pulaski hate. I am absolutely never gonna argue with anyone on it. Like it's 100% understandable. I just for some reason like I don't groan when I see a Pulaski episode. I'm like, oh.
well, let me say specifically that like our Pulaski hate is in part like a counter reaction to Renegade Cut's video about Dr. Pulaski being good, because I don't think because
y'all are a bunch of contrarians.
Well, kind of. Well, mostly in that episode, he talks a lot about like Pulaski was never that bad, and then no, she was. She absolutely was. She was awful. She was awful to Data, and like Randy plays it off as like, oh no, she's just being kind of like and then even then like she shows like some courteousness. And, like, no, she is like the most like bigoted person. She's awful.
I don't think I've watched that video. I'm gonna have to watch it then.
It's called Dr. Pulaski is good, sorry, and that's why we named our last episode Dr. Pulaski is bad. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Everyone go watch if you haven't watched the previous Left Trek episode, go watch that episode of Renegade Cut, and then watch our counter programming, the previous episode of Left Trek.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, definitely Pulaski like serves a good role as like a heel or like somewhat of like a villain in a lot of these episodes.
Yeah.
To be like, you know, but one that can be changed, right? And that's something that I think is like cool, but ultimately like she has to be seen as a as starting out as a bigot in the universe.
Well, that's what we're here in this season to find out. Does she redeem herself by the end? She starts out way worse than is typically implied, but is the thesis true that she gets good after a while? Find out on future episodes of Left Track.
No, we can definitely have those conversations.
We'll bring you on for a Pulaski episode next time.
Cool. Yeah, I would love that.
If you're ever willing to come back on again,
I can be the other side of the
show.
Yeah, the other side of the equation. I don't. Yeah.
Oh god, where do we go from there? That's the end.
Yeah,
that's it.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening to our podcast, Left Trek. We have a Patreon. Follow. You should follow it. We have like little episodes there that are special and stuff, and it's good.
Are you putting your hands out? Are you doing the hands?
Ba-dum-bum.
Follow us on Patreon. Ba-dum-bum.
Ba-dum-bum.
Hold on, wait. Let me get a real sway going.
Christ.
Sorry. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Guy walks into the doctor's office. The doctor tells him you need an operation. The guy says, I want a second opinion. The doctor says, okay, you're ugly too. Boom, boom.